Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion for my She-Hulk Attorney at Law Recap and Review Episode 2. I just want to let you know that this is going to be a spoiler-filled recap. I'm going to spoil this episode up, down, left, right, in, and out, as if you've already seen it. You have been warned. And if you happen to like the video, please go ahead and give me that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I also want to let you know that I will be going live tonight, August the 25th, 2022 at 6 p.m. CST. That is 6 p.m. CST. So not only do you get to see me right now going over She-Hulk, you also get to do it with me live. We can do it together and engage in the chat and have a great time. But guys, this right here episode, this was of course episode number 2. It is the shortest episode of the first 4 that I did happen to see, and for the most part I did like it. I really don't have any complaints. I did have fun with the first episode, and I had fun with the second episode. Now, if you did see my review, my non-spoiler review for all the first 4 episodes, you'll notice that I stated that I really wasn't feeling this episode or this whole series the first time around. But after my second chance, I did like it a lot better. And I remember the first time I watched it, I did like it a lot better when we got to Jennifer's family. And that was about 10 minutes into the episode. I don't know why, but when these characters interact with their family, interact with their friends and their loved ones on a personal level that really doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the story in the MCU, that just really stands out to me as an audience member, as a fan, because it's really relatable. Most everybody does have a family that they can go to, that they can count on, that they can just lay their head when they are completely stressed out. And that is exactly what we got here with Tatiana Maslany. I cannot ever say her name the right way, Miss Jennifer Walters. And I like that she's stressed out right now, because at the very beginning of this episode, I really do like it. It's a lot of fun. It's a ton of colors. It's just the reaction to her being a superhero, a super powered being, an Avenger who she doesn't want to be. We saw in the last episode with the Hulk that he's pushing her like, hey, I know this is the life that you don't want, but now you have a responsibility, kind of biting over Spider-Man's lore. With great power comes great responsibility. But of course, we know that Spider-Man, but you know, Bruce, her cousin, was trying to give her that same speech. And of course, we're going to be talking about him a little bit later on. But I am loving the news coverage that we're getting, you know, from society, you know, reflecting on her life and where her names come from. It was just a random person on the street just like, hey, you know, I was a witness and she came and saved the day, and it was like a Hulk. It was like a She-Hulk, and how they look at the camera, like everybody's breaking the fourth wall. And so I really do like that a lot. I do. She's doing the right thing. I mean, you know, it's perfect in my opinion. But I really do feel sorry for her. I mean, doing the right thing, she gets punished. You know, she's being celebrated. She goes into the bar just trying to have fun, just trying to have a good time. You know, her friend Janina's like, hey, let's go out and do this. And they go to turn up, and she gets fired. How do you go to a celebration and you get fired at your celebration? Like, that sucks. It's not as bad as getting fired on your birthday or so. I'm just, imagine that you're just going out and about and that somebody throws a surprise party for you. You're like, oh my God, this is such a surprise. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then your boss comes around talking about, you know, you're fired or whatever. That just really sucks. And what I do like about the transformations is when she was She-Hulk and her boss came over and was like, hey, can you please go back down to regular Jen? This is a serious conversation. You know, she shrunk back down on command, and I like that. This shows how she has control, but she does not have 100% control, because she kind of like missed her seat and fell down to the floor. And I can understand that is extremely taxing on your body to be transforming back and forth. We didn't really see it before, but with the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk in 2008, or any other iteration of the Hulk, anytime he was going back to his human form, you know, he was passed out, you know, and would wake up sweating like, oh my God, you know, am I okay? You know, that's not the case with her. So I do like the way they're doing that. You know, it's an easy way to keep things going without it being so dramatic. Let's just put She-Hulk out in the middle, out in the open, and I love that about this show so far, about her character, even when we get to see her at the office. But before we get to the office, because that is a standout as well, I have to talk about her colleague, Dennis, who is, man, just a chauvinist, misogynistic man. It's ridiculous. Hey, there's an attractive woman over there. I'm going to go talk to it. women are they're objects, you know, instead of going to go talk to her. And it's like, man, bro, and I don't really just be judging men like that. It'd be different if you was like a 9 or a 10 or something like that, but you're not, you know, you're not. So this is kind of interesting how they just kind of throw that in there. But like I was saying at the very beginning of this recap, I really like it when she went home and started talking to her parents. You know, her dad's Morris, her brother is Chad, and he's messing stuff up. Oh, I heard you got fired. Like, why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? And what I like about it is you know, when you go meet your family, it's never perfect. You know, family is never perfect. You're always fighting and bickering, and people are getting on each other's nerves and like, oh my gosh, you're doing too much. You're asking too many questions. You're stepping over my boundaries and all this. And everybody's asking all these questions. It's like her dad, Morris, like, about this Hawkeye, you know, like, what does he do about these arrows? And it's kind of funny that they address that, because these are actually questions that I had myself at one point in time as we're navigating through the MCU. Like, I wonder what Hawkeye does do with these arrows. Does it have a tracking device on it? Does he hit a button on his watch and they all come back to the lab? I know that's not true. But I did ask these questions before, so it's just kind of funny that her dad is putting it out there. Her mom is kind of being annoying too, like, oh my God, I met this other boy right here and he wants to be a superhero. And I was like, hey, my daughter's a superhero, and I gave him your number. And she's like, please don't give my number to strangers. And I know, I think we've all been there to where we had to go home for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and somebody's asking us a bunch of awkward questions that we don't want to answer, and we just kind of want to get out of there, you know. Like, I'm assuming that was maybe her aunt, uncle was like, hey, you know, I can't remember her aunt's name. Was it Melanie? I think Melanie. Hey, I just want to let you know, so I'm gonna put this out there. Melanie's a stylist. You know, we can get that She-Hulk hair right, and you know, that's funny. But what the best part was her dad taking her away. Like, look, I just need to make an excuse to get you away just to see how you doing, see how my baby girl is doing. But I like the line of dialogue from my dad. It's like, hey, it is what it is. We're gonna be okay. And it's not like we haven't had a Hulk in the family before. And I'm like, you know what? That's pretty cool. I like that right there. And that kind of just makes sense. And that will possibly make Jen open up more to her family and not just be as, I don't want to call her ashamed, but she's just kind of over it right now, just trying to adjust to this new amount of attention that she's going to get that she clearly doesn't want. And something else that she said talking to her dad, because he was like, are you okay? And she's like, no, I'm not okay, but it's okay not being okay. A lot of people a lot of people feel that way, especially women. And I know some people may complain like, oh, this is too woke. They're trying to, you know, shove women's suffrage down our throat and blah, blah. I actually don't mind. You know, in this show, I don't even like this term anymore. It's annoying to me, but if you wanted to call it woke, it's not. I mean, it's organic to me. It flows. My live that I had recently on my channel, or I was talking to Larry, and we was talking about Young Justice season 4 with a character named Halo, how it wasn't organic and it did seem like it was forced. But in this She-Hulk show, I like the tone, I like the energy that they're giving me, and no, I don't think it's forced or woke or anything like that. And she goes back to the bar and she's hired by Holloway, GLK&H. And there was a little birdie that told me that if you think about it, that is an Easter egg. Those are the initials for the original owners of Marvel. Before it was even Marvel Comics, it was like 2 names. It was 2 names before Marvel. And those are either the first or the last names. I think the last names, because you have, you know, K in there and Kirby. You know, he was one of the original 4 to my understanding. So I kind of like that Easter egg right there. But she has a job now. She's the, you know, attorney at law. And I like how at the beginning of this episode, it wasn't attorney at law. It was attorney for hire. But Holloway's like, hey man, all of these superheroes are popping up out the woodwork and we need somebody to represent them. You're perfect for the job. And she's upset about it at first. She's like, oh, am I a diversity hire? You know, I'm only being hired because of this. I'm really qualified in all of that. And I don't blame her, but at the same time, beggars can't be choosers. But I like the fact that her boss, Holloway, is making her be She-Hulk at the office. You know, it's the same person. He does, and initially I was like, I don't really like that, but I like it now because it just puts She-Hulk out there in the forefront, and people are going to be more accepting of superheroes. I mean, it's not a secret already. It's been out, but people are going to be more and more comfortable of this, which makes me think, since people are going to be more comfortable about like superheroes now, what are they going to do when mutants come into the MCU? Because in the comics, everybody was afraid of mutants and discriminated against mutants. But what is the difference between these Avengers and other heroes? And so that's just really interesting right there, how they're going to play that out. I'm also very, what I also like is her friend Janine, which let me try to look up her name. She is doing a really good job for me, this supporting actress right here. Well, I've never heard of before. Her name is Nikki Ramos. That is the name of her in the show, Ginger Gonzaga. I like her a lot because when Jen goes in there to look at her office, she got 70 credits. If y'all are a big fan of hers, let me know what you think of all of her work down below. But she was like, but look at what we got. Because, Jen comes in, oh, I'm so upset. They're only hiring me because of this and I'm really qualified. But she's like, but look what we got. We got these big windows. We got a full stock fridge. We got a desk and all that. That's funny. But we have a character, I think his name is Paul. He comes in there talking about, hey, how you doing? I made you a welcome basket and I gave you a map for the best bathroom to poop in. So we're going to call him Paul the Pooper Paul. I mean, that's just kind of funny. That was just too, I mean, it's funny because he's introducing himself as Paul the Pooper, but at the same time, that is an important detail to know. Like, where's the best office to poop? Like everybody poops, but you don't want to be blowing it up just in the bathroom where everybody frequents the most often. It's crazy because everybody poops, but sometimes pooping is still embarrassing. Like, I don't know, but that was funny to me. I got a good laugh out of it. You guys let me know what you thought about that. But she goes to Holloway and he's like, look, man, we hired you. Your first client is going to be Emil Blonsky. And I like this. The first episode was an origin. The second episode, we're getting into Emil Blonsky and the Abomination. And I'm like, okay, cool. Now, because we saw that, Wong is in the trailers as well. And so I'm kind of thinking to myself, okay, are they going to finally explain why Wong and the Abomination popped up in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings? Because that didn't make no freaking sense at all. And so I'm really looking forward to that right there. But, this is great. I like this, that, this is her first client. And she's like, look, this is a conflict of interest. This dude tried to kill my cousin. He's like, oh, yeah, he flipped into his papers. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. I don't give a damn. Right before that, hey, send this guy to Minneapolis because he just hates the cold and fire this other guy. Holloway is a trip. Like, he's just an ass, just for no damn reason. I don't know why, but that's just kind of funny to me, too. But, he's like, look, if you don't take the case, you don't got no job here. And I like the fact that, her suit, going back to when she was in the office, and why am I calling her Janine? That is not her name. That's not her name at all. I said that earlier. Her name is Nikki. Nikki was like, look, I'm going to have to get Jennifer's like, I'm going to have to get a whole new wardrobe just for my job. And she was like, hey, you can afford it now. But when she was walking up to the prison, I liked just seeing her full body with the suit on. It was badass. She had to shrink back down. And then she's going in there. The black security guard was serious, even though we have crossed every T and dotted every I for the precaution, your survival is not a guarantee and you could die. Do you accept these conditions? Do not touch the glass. Do not, walk over the yellow line. This is a prison, because she's trying to, make jokes and stuff, but he not having it. He not having it. This is serious. But, she go in there and Emil just chilling in the cut, laying back. And I like the twist that they do on them. I'm like, there's no way that they should let this man out. I mean, I think right now in the MCU, we're in like year 2025, right? And so the events of Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, where Emil Blonsky was, active, that was real time in 2008. And so 2018, that is 10 years, 12 years. So has it been 17 years since Emil Blonsky's been locked up? So I guess he can get out, but he's like, look, I was only trying to kill Hulk because I was following orders. I'm just like, wow, I ain't never think of it like that. She's like, yeah, but then you ran a rampage in Harlem. He was like, yeah, because I had the super soldier serum in me plus Hulk's blood. Well, I didn't have no control over that. I lost control. And I'm just like, damn, that kind of makes sense. That's actually a valid, argument. I don't agree with him. I think he's lying. I think he's full of crap. I think he had full control. But I'm like, damn, that makes sense. And that completely changed her position on this, because Holloway was like, look, before you accept a job, just think, and just meet the client and talk it over, because you may want to do it. And she needs a job. And he did make a point. Emil Blonsky did make a point. So I like that. But the next scene right here, she's talking to her, to Bruce, And he's like, hey, do what you got to do. He wrote me a letter. I wrote him a letter. We broke it down. And she's like, I'm going to accept the job. And he not escapes, but he goes off into space and the interstellar travel. You know, so is he going back to Sakaar, you know, from Thor Ragnarok? I don't know. Are we ever going to see the Hulk again in this series? I hope so. I hope we finally get a Savage Hulk at some point in time. I don't know, but I doubt that we're going to. I mean, we may probably see him at the end of the season, but I'm not sure. But she accepts the job, and then as the credits hit, or not, yeah, right before the credits hit, you know, they get that footage of him sneaking out of prison. So I'm just like, yeah, that right there is possibly where Wong is going to come through in the next episode, because, you know, he's the one that freed him, and we're going to get all those answers, hopefully. And so I'm looking forward to it. But I really did like this episode and just the reaction from the general public of a new superhero that is an attorney, and everything is just kind of flowing right now, because I mean, it just, you know, superheroes are coming up, or superpower beings are coming up out the woodwork, and you know, you're going to need some type of legal system to, you know, handle every situation, and this is perfect. I mean, it just fits wonderful, and I like it a lot. You know, we know that Daredevil is coming eventually, and he's an attorney as well, and so I like all this. I'm really eager to see what they're going to do with the Hulk, Abomination, with it all. I think this is great, and I really did enjoy this episode. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section, but that is just my opinion, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you did like this video, please go ahead and give me the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, helping me reach my next milestone of 50,000 subscribers. And guys, remember, I will be going live tonight at 6 p.m., 6:30, no, 6 p.m., I'm sorry, 6 p.m. CST on my channel. Make sure you subscribe and come back and engage in the chat. And again, guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.